I just read the spoilers for chapter 903, guys. I'm not gonna say anything about it. Don't worry, don't click off. I'm not gonna go on a tangent about it. It's just... Okay. Let's just, let's shelve that hype for now. Oh, I won't be able to hold it. I'll be at work tomorrow waiting for the it's Golden Week in Japan, so it's going to take a while for the chapter to come out, but I'll be at work tomorrow. You know, it was like, hi, how you doing? Welcome to Dollar Tree. Oh, you're buying some freaking gift cards. That's nice. Okay, your total's $342. Oh my god! And they're just going to freak out right in front of me and then run out of the store, and I'm probably going to get fired. But you know what? It would be worth it! Okay, so let's finish up with the zone discussion. I kind of started on that back in January. I was talking about mythical zones and then ancient zones, and there was one more video about carnivorous zones, and I just kind of trailed off. And there's a reason for that. It's because carnivorous zones are a different kind of subtype than the other ones. You see, mythical zones, you understand why they're called that, right? These are very, very rare devil fruits. Probably the single most rare type of devil fruit in the entire world, even more rare than Logia, that allow you to transform into animals from legend, like phoenixes, phoenixi. I don't even know if there's a plural of phoenix. There probably isn't, because one person has probably not seen more than one phoenix in their lifetime. You know, like a griffin or something. You know, the vampire mythical zone from that video game, alright? Makes sense. Ancient zones, kind of the same deal. Not as rare as mythical, but very hard to come by, and they allow you to turn into animals that are long extinct. Now, when it comes to carnivorous zones, that's kind of interesting that would be a particular subclass. And it got me thinking that there's actually a lot more subclasses of zones that just are never brought up. And the only reason that carnivorous got brought up by Chopper is because those that have a carnivorous zone basically have all the same abilities that a regular zone has. It's nothing like, you know, super crazy. It's just that their natural bloodlust gets raised higher because the animal that they now have within them, you know, it's used to eating flesh. And that's even like the literal translation of carnivora, you know, the order in the animal taxonomy and everything. Carn means flesh, and I believe the vora part means to devour, which, vora, to devour, that's where that fetish comes from. You know, I have a friend that's way into that. I should let him know. Little fun fact. So yeah, that's really why Chopper brought it up in that case with Lucci. Lucci had the zone fruit model leopard, or the cat fruit model leopard, I should say. And, you know, Chopper was just warning everybody, is like, okay, well, he has a carnivore type zone, so he's going to be a lot more voracious, a lot more, you know, bloodthirsty than other zones are. But if you really break it down in that kind of, like, subcategory, you could call Peckhams' turtle fruit a reptilian zone, because, you know, turtles are reptiles. You could call Smiley's axolotl fruit a amphibious type zone, because it allows him to turn into a Mexican salamander. You know, even the snake fruits from the Kuja, you know, those are reptiles as well. So I guess you could classify any type of zone, depending on what animal you come into, as, you know, like a reptilian class zone. With Jabra's fruit, you could classify as a mammal zone because he turns into a wolf. Wolves are also carnivores. So you can see how this is much more broad compared to mythical and ancient. So, you know, it's not like a big, huge category. It's more of just like a clarifying statement when you're discussing various zone types. So in this video, I was kind of debating what I was going to do. Was I going to go through like every carnivorous zone in the series? Because you kind of run into a few problems with that. Like, here's one thing. How do you classify a carnivore? Because looking into it, doing some research, there's a few different angles you can look at here. You can only consider animals that are in the order of carnivores, or true carnivores, I guess. I always figured carnivores were just any type of animal that gets its, you know, its diet is primarily consisting of other animals. Like, it doesn't eat any kind of fruit or vegetable or any kind of plant. It's only relying on other animals to feed itself as its primary source of nutrition. In fact, in some cases, some of these animals aren't even able to process any kind of plant matter. It has to be flesh. It has to be some sort of, like, other animal. But that opens it up way beyond just the order. carnivora. Like, for instance, going back to snakes. Snakes don't eat plants. Snakes eat other animals, so you could consider them carnivores. Dogs and other canines, like foxes and things. A lot of people consider them omnivores because some of them are capable of eating, plants and things like that. But going by their digestive tracts and the way that's set up, as well as with their teeth, the way their teeth are laid out, people will just classify them as, no, strictly carnivores. Bears, you'd think, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, those are all definitely carnivores. Well, depends on what kind of species of bear you're talking about in that instance. Things like the polar bear, yeah, they don't really have a lot of access to plants, so mostly have to rely on eating, like, seals and fish. So, yeah, carnivore. However, the grizzly bear, for instance, they live in forested areas, so yeah, they can eat animals, but also they can live on nuts and berries and things. Also, I looked it up, and most grizzly bears need to consume about 90 pounds of food a day. So, you can imagine what that, exchanges out to in berries and nuts. So, you probably should throw a deer in there somewhere, maybe a few fish, Animals are adaptable. That's the situation there. So just going through the different zones we see in the series, the only ones that are actually in the Carnivora order are Lucci's leopard and Jabra's wolf, as well as like the other dog fruits like Lasso, who can turn into just a Dachshund, but it's a dog. It's still in that Carnivora category. But like I said, there's plenty of others that open it up to that are just carnivores, right? So for the rest of this video, let's go through the various carnivores that have yet to show up in One Piece in the form of zones. Now keep in mind, you also have Kaido coming up, and Kaido is, the master of like 100 beasts, and he comes up with these artificial devil fruits. So it's possible that Oda might be holding off a lot of these major carnivores. Like, isn't it weird we have not yet to see a lion zone or a tiger zone? These are really popular, carnivores in the world. Like the lion is the king of beasts. It's interesting we have yet to see a lion zone. So he might be waiting for Kaido to show all those off. Like some of the stronger, the gifters might have artificial zones that turn them into these things, or at least part of their bodies into these things, So, I already talked about the obvious ones: lion zones, tiger zones, bear zones. Oh my, that might be the joke, actually. I could totally see them going up against Kaido. Maybe not like one of the calamities, but maybe like one of the high-ranking like gifters or something. Like the three strongest gifters are the lion, the tiger, and the bear. And maybe they have like an oh my moment from like Wizard of Oz. Like that's the joke. Oda, he could totally do that. Moving on to smaller animals, but are also equally fearsome: wolverines and badgers, specifically the honey badger. Can you imagine if Oda made a honey badger zone artificial or not? Oh my god, that thing would like break the internet. Game over, guys. Game over. You can't move on after that point. One Piece is over as soon as you introduce the honey badger zone. No one will take it seriously after that point. Now, you also have, fox zone as well, canine, but you also have animals that are not something that you would think of in zone or carnivores, but are definitely, carnivores, just because of, like I kind of said with the polar bears reside in the Arctic, so there's not really a lot of options. So animals like seals and walruses are carnivores because the same thing, they live in that same kind of environment, they have to survive on fish. And to extend that even further, sharks and whales, however, that's going into the territory of like fishmen. In fact, I just realized the other day that probably the reason we're never going to see a shark devil fruit or a whale devil fruit, aside from the obvious, that's the natural weakness of devil fruit, is being in the water. Sharks can only live in the water, but that's why Oda came up with the fishman race and the merman race. Like, that's the whole reason. We don't need to see a great white shark zone because we already saw Hody Jones. That's it right there. So I think that's why Oda came up with it. That kind of fills the void from the lack of marine animal zones. You have the fishmen for that, so it's all set there. But a seal zone or a walrus zone, in fact, we might have already seen that because I think his name was Iswan or Iowan. He was one of the allies of Whitebeard at Marineford, and it looked like he had a walrus fruit, and you would figure it definitely is, but then later on the minks were introduced, so you never know. Although I think the minks were stated to never have, I think, don't the minks have to have fur? Like, wasn't that one of their, like, deciding factors on what they decided to eat or not? Like reptiles and amphibians and things were kind of like their pets on Zoe, like those giant crocs, because they didn't have hair. Walruses, I don't think have hair, or not very much hair. I don't really know how the classification there would go if Iowan is a mink or not. But if he isn't, he might have a zone that is a carnivorous zone walrus, so there you go. Also, the most devastating of all the carnivores by this classification, of just an animal that needs to eat other animals as, you know, their primary source of nutrition, I don't even know if I could show them, because they're so devastatingly scary that you might just shit your pants, but you ready for it? Okay. The penguin! Oh, take it away, take it away, take it off! I know, we weren't ready for that, Do you know how many fish are massacred every single day down in Antarctica because of these freaking bloodthirsty birds? But yeah, penguins, they gotta survive on fish and shit, so yeah, they eat other animals, there you go. A penguin zone would be absolutely adorable, and I really hope Oda writes that in. Backtracking to bears a bit, because I didn't bring this up, maybe a specific type of bear carnivore could be the panda. Panda zone. I like that. And also, you might be able to fit in Panda Man in there somewhere, too. Like, I would love if at some point in the series, Oda makes Panda Man an actual important character. Like, wouldn't you? Like the Straw Hats are running through an area or something, and then they need to figure out a way to go. Like, Zoro gets lost for the umpteenth time, and he needs directions, and he asks Panda Man, or Panda Man actually helps them out in some point. Like, that would be so weird. Like, maybe at the very end of the series, you know, he has Panda Man actually do something important, and the Straw Hats are like, whoa, thanks, man. He's like, it's alright, I'm always here for you. And he just wanders away. He's like, that guy was kind of strange. Yeah, that's weird. That'd be so crazy if the Straw Hats actually met Panda Man. Just wanted to bring that up. Other types of smaller carnivores include skunks. I think one of the smallest carnivores, period, is the weasel. So either of those would be really cool as zones. The skunk one, I think, could be very applicable to certain situations. Not only being, you know, a carnivore in the sense of getting claws and fangs and things, but also, you know, you have the stench that you can emit in the battlefield, and we haven't seen a skunk zone yet. So yeah, all of these might possibly appear in Kaido's entourage, okay? There might be a reason, because going into research on this, you know, pushing aside the walrus and the penguins and everything, the fact that lions, tigers, bears, wolverines, badgers, skunks, weasels, we haven't seen any of those in terms of zones yet in the series. That is kind of weird. So, and those are really kind of like popular animals in the world that everyone just knows about. You know, everyone knows about freaking lions, you know, king of the jungle. So, I'm on to you, Oda. I think those will be showing up, you know, when Kaido makes his appearance, yeah. But aside from that, that's really all I wanted to say, because the carnivore classification, like I said, it's not really so much of like a major classification like mythical or ancient, where they're really rare. I think it's just a clarifier. Like with Pell, when he ate the bird fruit model falcon, you could just clarify that as, oh, it's an avian zone. Doesn't really mean anything beyond that, it's just a classifier for the type of zone he ate. Yeah, and yeah, with the carnivores, like with Lucci's and Jabras also most likely, it increases the bloodlust a bit. But beyond that, you don't get really special abilities or anything like that. It's not like Lucci got a special power like Leopard Cannon! Okay, well, he did kind of had the Leopard Cannon, but it wasn't called Leopard Cannon, it was because of his own training, and it was called the Roku Ogon! Okay, next time Lucci shows up, you need to call it the Leopard Cannon. Okay, cool. But anyway, let me know below about some other carnivores that you would like to see in the story. Maybe in Kaido's little group, or with the gifters, or just in like just normal zone fruits found in the wild, and things about that. And maybe clarify a little bit about the whole carnivore thing. Like, is a carnivore determined based on its order and taxonomy? Is it based on, like, the kind of teeth it has? You know, if it's a herbivore or an omnivore? Yeah, I don't know, man. Let me know. Thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Tekking101 signing out. I'm gonna go back into the fetal position now, thinking about the chapter that is to come. It's coming! And you better be ready, children!